Well, alright, ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing on this Tuesday, December the 17th, 2020? Welcome to another metallic episode of Music of Destruction, bringing you the best in metal-related content right here on YouTube. If you missed anything in the past week, click that eye in the upper right corner of the screen. Get caught up on all my latest videos. I would greatly appreciate it. Welcome to Album Review Tuesdays once again here on Music of Destruction, and tonight we are having a look at a new album that I just got in the mail recently with None, The Damp Chill of Life. And the band hails from Portland, Oregon, and you know, since their introduction in the spring of 2017, the enigmatic and anonymous None from the Pacific Northwest have crafted disturbing and emotionally devastating atmospheric depressive black metal that have garnered the attention of many listeners of the genre around the globe, myself included. Now, the self-titled debut album was released in April of 2017, which brought forth a thick shroud of piercing guitar interwoven with haunting synth and tortured vocals marching in despair towards an empty void. Exactly 1 year later, in April of 2018, the band released Life Has Gone On Long Enough. None's second full-length was released, developing its tortured personality further, with a single track, Where Life Should Be, was released in November of 2018 as a bridge between the two full lengths. Like clockwork, None returns this spring to destroy your seasonal optimism with their oppressively bleak atmosphere. Damp Chill of Life was released in April of 2019, and it continues on their arrestingly reclusive legacy. Now, weaving visionary soundscapes with depressive black metal, Damp Chill of Life will gnaw at your bones like dying alone in an ice-bound wilderness, of course. Haunting piano keys and retching voices flicker through harsh walls of instruments, ebbing and flowing through the lengthy tracks as None take their time to pick apart your psyche. Now, as with the previous albums, this album, like I said, was released April of 2019. So, let's get into the review now that you have a biography and a bit of a description about the band's discography. The Damp Chill of Life opens with the track Fade, and there's instantly a sense of deep coldness and isolation and desolation that seeps into your soul the minute you hit the play button on this track, and it really sets the mood for the experience that this album is about to take you on. The mood and tone are set against the bleak, cold landscape on the album cover, and there's a tremendous sense of isolation and solitude, even for something this simplistic and minimal. However, it works so well to illustrate the atmosphere of the album. Great introductory track with Fade. Next up, we have the title track, The Damp Chill of Life, and there's an automatic sense of desperation and pain as soon as the opening ice-cold riffs begin to bellow forth with nothing but pure desolate sadness and painful shrieks and howls of anguish. The production is raw, but also clear enough to hear all of the instrumentation perfectly, and it gives the album a cold, bleak tapestry of hopeless numbness and overall desperation that cries out for a voice to be heard, and the guys in this band sure as hell know how to convey deep pain and sadness in their art. The chill that this track sends down your spine is immaculately crafted with perfection, and the melancholy and agony certainly captivate the soul and drain all life from the listener, and I am damn sure that's what the band was going for on this album and this track. This is a killer depressive black metal track. Now, one thing I'm also going to mention here is that each track seamlessly bleeds into the other, which really serves as an amazing continuation of the journey, and I think this decision was a good one. Next up, we have the track Cease, and the minimal dark ambient piano work and ominous low bass atmosphere keyboard notes envelop you in complete blackness and abysmal sorrow as it plods on and creates a strong sense of hypnosis early on and invokes emotions of solitude and emptiness as if you're looking up at a cold black winter sky with no hope of ever seeing the light, and it leaves you a shell of your former self. It then picks up into another crashing crescendo of black metal hatred and pain through the ice-cold melancholic riffs once again. Drums are simple on these DSBM albums, but they just serve as the backbone of the atmosphere that is presented here, and the minimalism works well for the atmospheric textures and dissonance that is being served up through the aesthetics and goal of the music, and it's done with absolute perfection. Now, it's been hard to find more and more quality misanthropic DSBM these days, but I think none are definitely one of the genre's crowning gems, and I absolutely love this record and band. Killer song here as well. Next up we have You Did a Good Thing, and this is a slow, clean, guitar-driven, depressing, melancholy trip into pure hopelessness and isolation, as if they've completely given up on themselves and see no way out of the world that they now inhabit. You see, the mind is a powerful thing, and when you become consumed with grief and misery, it can be extremely blinding and deceptive. And one thing I've always have loved about this genre is its authenticity. There's also some very dark, somber keyboards combined with piano work here on this track that really make it stand out. Very captivating. Now, I'm not saying every artist in this genre is authentic, but if you've been through the things that this genre focuses on, then you can easily separate the real artists from the posers. This is minimalistic, it's depressive, but it works in what it's trying to do here, and it's atmospheric and deeply cold and hopeless. Killer track here as well. Next up we have the track It's Painless to Let Go, and this one picks up right from the last track with guitar-driven melancholy soaring over top of the somber keyboard piano work, and it keeps the journey and experience going before the drumming and vocals kick in with another harrowing journey into hopeless black hell with no signs of light and hope. And you know what? Why would you want the experience to be any other way if you're listening to depressive atmospheric black metal? This is an absolute bone-shattering cold trip into despair and abandon of anything resembling humanity anymore, as the black isolation corrodes your mind and soul, and this entire album just keeps pulling you downward into its spiral of confusion, desolation, and pain. So guys, let's check out It's Painless to Let Go here on Music of Destruction. And we are back, and I honestly don't know many bands of late who can truly compete with this level of intensity and emotion as the band None with their releases along with Damp Chill of Life, as it stands on its own merit, and it's really hard to even compare this album to others in the genre. This album continues to impress me with repeated listenings, and it's incredible. Next, it bleeds into the track I Yearn to Feel, which slows things down once again, with a really melancholic, almost southern guitar-driven stomp with a depressive theme going on, and with minimal keyboard work and drumming here, it works very well to convey deep despair and a hopeless abandon as well as solitude. And of course, this works well, and it's one of the standouts on the album, but I also feel that the minimalism on this track and album are exactly what they needed to do in order to convey the bleakness and coldness that the album cover illustrates. I mean, this is exactly what the album sounds like. Black winter skies and numbness, as the emotional context of the album is quite complex, but also familiar to those who understand what's going on here. Another amazing song. Closing out this black hole of abysmal sorrow is the track A Chance I'd Never Have, which opens with some more clean, melancholic guitar work and really does its job of pulling you deeper into its cold, cavernous despair and hatred, and then explodes into an ice-cold, melancholic, bone-shattering, riff-driven fucking insanity of pure pain and desperation, as do the vocals all over this album as well. And the atmosphere here is just amazing and drips with authenticity and emotions and experiences, as the harsh walls of guitar-driven dissonance hypnotize and captivate your soul even further for its entire duration. And there isn't one moment I find here where I want to skip over any tracks or turn the album off. From start to finish, I'm completely enveloped in this album. And that's how strong of an effort we have here with this record. And it's almost too much at times when you consider just how intense of a journey and experience this all adds up to be, as it ebbs itself into your mind and soul with each track culminating onto the other, and it never lets up on its intended goal and atmosphere. And the cleaner sections that intertwine with the distorted, pain-filled black metal riffs just add so much more depth and variation and emotion to the record that it never borders on becoming predictable or boring in any sense of the word. Now, double bass drumming does make its appearance here and there, but I feel like the emphasis was on atmosphere and of course not heaviness, though this album is still heavy as hell on many different levels. But let's face it, this isn't death metal. Overall, this album is an absolute masterpiece of misanthropic pain, anguish, and coldness that begs to be heard. The final verdict for None's Damp Chill of Life is going to get a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend it. I'll leave a link in the description where you can pick up this album. Alright guys, so there you have it. Another album review in the books here on Music of Destruction. I hope you enjoyed tonight's video. And hey, if you're new, make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss anything. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Music of Destruction. Join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Music of Destruction. The Seed Podcast, episode 27, The History of Death Metal Part 3, is up on Patreon right now. If you'd like to support the channel, patreon.com/Music of Destruction. Select the $5 tier. Your support is appreciated. Helps keep the channel going, goes to new equipment and all kinds of cool stuff for just $1 a month. If you want to do that, that will help as well. I'll give you shoutouts on your channel, etc., etc. For $10 a month, I will interview your band, review your music, and promote you on my channel. Colton James and myself doing a brand new YouTube channel, movies and games on Reviews on the Run. So let's check out a clip right here on Music of Destruction.
Sorry guys, looks like I lost him. There's no sign of him anywhere.
And we are back. Shoutouts: Metal Ben's Chronicles, King of Swords, Acid Metal. Have yourselves an awesome night. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and like. Have a great night. Stay fucking metal. Cheers.